If you're just waking up, just joining us, ladies, you look outside right now, people are waking up to snow and those conditions are going to intensify.
That's right. When there's two of us here on a weekend, this is a big storm.
Not a good sign.
No, and we got snow for everyone right now, and honestly, this is as easy as the forecast will get today. It's really a question of when we see that switch over to sleet and potentially some freezing rain for areas farther off to the south and east. So here's Doppler radar right now, really consistent look for everyone. It is snowing everywhere, unless you look into parts of far western Maryland, maybe a little bit lighter snow. It's still coming down though, where you see those deeper shades of blue, especially up to the south of D.C., south of I-66, right along 95. That's where the snow is coming down at a slightly higher rate. But for everyone, this snow is coming down. It is piling on. But what we're going to be watching really carefully here over the next several hours is when we see that transition to sleet and again, potentially freezing rain for areas farther off to the south and east. Now, we do still have several more hours of this pure snow event before we see that transition, but that transition will dictate how these snowfall totals ultimately end up. That's why we've got such a big range of totals, because if we see just one more hour of snow, that's going to be another inch, possibly two of snow. But once we make that transition to sleet, the snow will stop accumulating, the sleet will pile it all down, and we could end up with some of the lower totals. So we're going 4 to 8 for southern Maryland down through the northern neck, 6 to 10 for everyone highlighted there in pink. That includes around the Beltway, up and down 95, points off to the north and west. And then where we see snow last a little bit longer, 10 to 14 in our north and westernmost counties. That's where we'll end up with our jackpot totals when all is said and done. So here we go through Futurecast. This is right around 8 o'clock. You can see we start to see that sleet line creeping a little farther off to the north. And then by 10 a.m., areas along and south of I-66, you've made the transition over from snow to sleet. Those little ice pellets that can kind of ping your face if you're trying to get out and clean up this storm. But sleet still beats freezing rain. Sleet does not bring down power lines and tree branches, and areas off to the north, you're still seeing snow, but eventually this afternoon, everyone switches over to sleet, except I want you to notice parts of southern Calvert, St. Mary's County, where those temperatures could nudge warm enough for freezing rain. That's where we could see that icy glaze. That is what really does lead to more power outage issues. However, I don't anticipate seeing enough freezing rain for big power concerns, and this is really going to be a threat really just for areas in our southern and southeasternmost counties. Most areas see prolonged sleet as we head through Sunday evening. Before 8 o'clock, this storm starts to clear out of here. With more on the impacts from this storm and more explaining of the snow to sleet to freezing rain situation, let's check in with Miri.